All right, everybody. It's 2 p.m. Eastern Time. Welcome, everybody. Megan, can you hear me okay?
Yes, can hear
Ben,
ya.
thanks for joining. Thank you, everybody, for joining us today for this office hours and kickoff of the CMS for Marketers study group in HubSpot community and the CMS for Marketers group. We have not only one nor two, but three HubSpot Academy teachers today. We are very, very excited to have you guys, and thank you for joining us today. We're going to be asking questions through the chat. If you guys have any questions in the chat, let us know. We're going to be answering your questions. I'm going to introduce us, and then I'm going to let our speakers today let themselves introduce themselves. Do you want to start, Megan?
Yeah, so hi guys, I am Megan Sullivan. I'm the creative director with Nextiny Marketing, who helps to put on the HubSpot CMS user group events and also study hours. I've been working in the HubSpot CMS for a little over 5 years, built probably close to 100 websites, landing pages, campaigns, etc. inside the platform. Passionate about data-driven design, user experience, and we're also big fans of StoryBrand around here. So if you keep coming, you'll hear some of that. But so happy to have you guys here and to get to connect and talk a little bit about CMS.
Of course. Thank you, Megan. And I'm Gabriel Marguglio. I'm the CEO and founder of Nextiny Marketing. We are a Diamond HubSpot agency. I'm the owner. We started 20 years ago. Actually, this Saturday is going to be 20 years ago that I started this agency, which is insane. We are 100% HubSpot CMS agency, and I'm a no-code enthusiast. I know we have some coding people and some developers here joining us today. Great. We do some development work, but I love when we can do beautiful things, great experiences, and there's no need for us to call the developers or work with the developers, and we can do it all directly in HubSpot CMS. We'll show you some of those examples, and we'll definitely talk about that. And that is what this group and what this community, the CMS for Marketers community, is all about. Is yes, we have amazing developers that can support us, but we can do so much with the HubSpot CMS Hub that we want to share that and make sure that that is very loud and everybody knows how to do these things. On a personal level, I have an amazing wife and partner, Jackie. We have 4 kids, never a dull moment in the house for sure. We collect typewriters and cookbooks, and we usually, you will find us in the kitchen cooking something from those 1,000 cookbooks. So that's definitely us. So let me make sure we move to our amazing speakers today. Thank you. Amazing. We love the HubSpot Academy, and we always love when we can connect with professors from the Academy. I'm going to let you guys introduce yourself. Rachel, you want to start?
Yeah, for sure. Hi, everyone. I'm Rachel. I'm a HubSpot Academy professor with a focus on CMS Hub, everything related to CMS Hub, so web design, UX, SEO, and you've probably seen me before if you have gotten CMS for Marketers certified.
What's up, everyone? Yep. Sorry, Gabriel. Hey, what's up, everyone? I'm Ben Brophy, developer professor. So working alongside Brooke, all things CMS for developers and HubSpot API. So happy to be here. Happy to answer any questions. And yeah, excited for that.
And hi, y'all. My name is Brooke. I am the other developer professor here at HubSpot Academy, and I'm excited to be here and kick off this study group.
Awesome, everybody. Thank you again for being here today. We're very excited. Today, our agenda is going to be, we're going to do a little icebreaker. We're going to get to know the community. We'll share some interesting things that we have seen, and we have HubSpot CMS Hub. And then we'll go right into questions. Ask us anything. We're here to help, of course. So let us know if you have any questions. You can put them in the chat, and we'll go from there. So first of all, before we jump into questions and introductions, we have a HubSpot CMS for Marketers study group in the HubSpot community. So that is it's a group of people. It's a community based on HubSpot CMS for marketers. We want to help each other. We want to be there for you. We want to build a community that helps each other. So this doesn't end with this event. And of course, we have other events. We'll share that in a minute. But the communication and the conversation doesn't end. You can go back to CMS for Marketers. We're sharing the links, become part of the community, and we're there to help. We actually manage those posts. Academy also helps with that. So we're all going to be there trying to help as much as possible. But the idea is to build community, so we end up helping each other. There's so many people doing great things out there. We want to learn from it and do things together. Of course, that also fuels events. So we're going to be running monthly events, the CMS for Marketers office hours, where you can join and ask whatever you want. You can keep that conversation going, but live, ask your questions, show us your projects, show us what you're doing, ask questions about it, and we'll try to help you as much as possible, as much as also sharing trends, sharing things that we have learned from doing hundreds of websites and things like that. So we are very excited for the events and the community. Now, without too much explanation on this, we did the same thing for video marketing. So we have also office hours events for video marketing and HubSpot community study group for video marketing. So we want to invite you to those too. So if you're doing anything video related, which you probably should, we want to invite you to these groups to learn from each other and continue to help each other through community and events. So the icebreaker that we have here, I don't know if you guys want to go through this, Ben, Brooke, or Rachel. Do you want to ask the question here? So
Sure.
the question, go ahead.
I can do it. So our question today that we want you to put in the chat is, what is your CMS or technology related hot take? My hot take is that no one wants to download another app onto their phone. They like it if you have a mobile accessible website. So that's my hot take for y'all.
That's great. Any other hot takes you want to share, Ben, Rachel?
I'm just going to say it. This is a little bit controversial, but I think HubSpot is better than other popular CMSs. I'm biased.
You can say it.
I'm not gonna
HubSpot.
The hot take.
I'm not going to name any names.
I am going to say it. Well, I'm going to do that for you and for HubSpot, Ben, because I can. HubSpot CMS is better than WordPress. That's my hot take right there. Yes.
That's a good hot take. I can get behind that. I liked the comment about not getting NFTs. I think that's just more generally technology related, but I can get behind that. I don't get it. I understand it. I don't understand it. I'm a big conspiracy theory fan, and I feel like there's a conspiracy theory in the works with that for sure.
And I see definitely NFTs. Definitely lately, let's not even go there. Probably people that own NFTs are crying right now because of our comment. But I see that Nicole said that images should be optimized for the web. Yes. Run Website Grader. It'll tell you if your sizes are too big and you need to optimize. These are some of the tips that we always share with Megan in these events. It's use this little tool, things like that. So then images are optimized and everything's optimized. So SEO gets better, everything gets better. So definitely some great hot takes there for sure. So let's keep going right here. You've already done this, but if you haven't, tell us in the chat, what's your name, your location, your position in your company, and are you HubSpot CMS for Marketers certified? And if you're a developer or if you're getting into development, are you a HubSpot CMS for Developers certified? We are sharing the links. If you are not, you should definitely check out these certifications. This team has put together amazing content. I definitely recommend these certifications for everybody doing HubSpot CMS work for sure. So share in the chat if there's anything or any questions about these things. Let us know, and we will definitely show you the way. So we're going to do a little show and tell. I love this section. We're going to share something that's interesting and different that was built on HubSpot CMS. We have some that do not require development, some that are just HubSpot features that we've implemented, and some that the development team is sharing. So we will share some different ones. Also, you tell us, share with us, share the URL, tell us what you build. We are excited about building amazing experiences with HubSpot CMS Hub, and we want to learn from you. So while we are sharing some of these, please put it in the chat pane. What have you done in the HubSpot CMS that from your point of view is cool, or what have you seen out there in HubSpot CMS that is cool and is a great experience for the user? So Brooke, you want to start with this one?
Yeah, of course. So I wanted to show off this website. It's for a company that builds fire trucks, and this website was actually built by a HubSpot partner. And I really liked how I talked with the person who was the developer on this, and the way that they utilized these different little assets here with these pictures and the little cards that have each fire truck that's currently in production. They used HubDB tables. So all of their content for the new information that's coming out for each of these fire trucks is hosted within a HubDB table, and then they are using ability to take that information from a HubDB table and put it into a template so that they can dynamically generate these new pages and have specific templates set up and call the correct information at the correct place on the page. So it's just a really cool way of using HubDB tables to populate website pages.
And HubDB tables are so versatile. I know that, sometimes you can use external servers and APIs and serverless functions. And there's so many amazing features in HubSpot CMS Hub, but sometimes it's just create a HubDB table, create a page that shows the content, create a simple search, and there you go. You can create a beautiful feature with not a lot of coding, because the database is internal inside HubSpot. And again, if you want to build something bigger, you can always connect that with an API, with an external database, with another server. Like, there's so many things you can do, but I love when we can achieve this simple stuff and then just give them, hey, inside HubSpot, go to HubDB, you change your own thing, or upload with an Excel file, just update all the information at once. So it's so easy to use. You just need a little bit of code and you can do some amazing things, right, guys?
For sure.
Definitely,
And
definitely.
if you take the CMS for Developers certification, there's an entire lesson dedicated to getting data sources onto your website.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Thanks for sharing, Brooke. So Ben, do you wanna talk about this one?
Yeah, for sure. This one was like a contest winner from last year. So I think it just goes to show like the flexibility of HubSpot CMS. So you can do as little or as much as you want, which I think is like really sets it apart. So this one in particular was just kind of like a business that built an entire application, an entire business application on just using the CMS serverless function, custom objects. You can see some things in this GIF that's rotating. You can generate a PDF. They use like custom hazard objects. This schema right here is like kind of how it all fits together. So I just wanted to, just just wanted to highlight like what you can do with the CMS. Like from the outside, I only started at HubSpot last year. I didn't really understand like what the CMS was capable of. So it's just really cool to see partners building like these like really extending the CMS and making it do things that maybe people thinking about HubSpot wouldn't expect. I just thought that was cool to call out.
That's a great point. I feel like sometimes they feel like there's a limit because they have a distorted idea of what the CMS is from 10 years ago or whatever, when it started, because there was a different technology. The CMS over the last 5 years have been evolving so much, and not only the basic CMS functions, but all the advanced functions when you're starting to use enterprise, all the security and the teams and serverless functions, so many things you could do to actually connect with other systems that sometimes people don't understand the power of HubSpot CMS. And I'm going to actually add that HubSpot features are also amazing to use as part of CMS. You know, that's the other part of like not just website HubSpot CMS Hub features, but you can use Marketing Hub features. You can use Sales Hub features. You can use Service Hub features. A lot of these features integrate beautifully with the CMS. And then you can create experiences that are personalized because you know more about that contact, because you know their stage in, you know, in their buyer's journey, because you know what they're looking for. You can serve, you know, knowledge-based articles with bots. I'll talk about that one in a second. Like sometimes we just use the blog feature as a, and that's another one. We use the blog feature as a kind of like directory entry. You can just build blogs and make them look like a feed that is not a feed of blogs. It could be a feed of products. It could be a feed of, you know, testimonials, a feed of videos, a feed of whatever it is that you want to do. And the feed is already built. The search is already built. The tags are already, all that functionality is already built. You just do a little UI on top and you make it feel and look and work as a completely different feature, but you're just using a HubSpot feature, right? Like that's what I love about interconnecting all the different HubSpot features and building beautiful experiences with HubSpot CMS that don't require $100,000 development, right? Like that's my idea of why the CMS is so great, right? Awesome. Sorry, I'm as you can see, I'm a little excited about the HubSpot CMS Hub, especially lately. It's been so great to see it grow so much. This is one of those examples. Megan, do you want to talk a little bit about this one?
Yeah. An awesome example of exactly what Gabriel was talking about, where even without using complex, like more HubDB functionality, you can just take advantage of the blog template and take advantage of searching and tagging. So this is an example. We actually use the blog feed functionality to display a listing of different homes that this developer offers. And we're able to then take advantage of the blog tagging system and functionality to send specific homes just for Naples for specific email feeds, and do that all through just tagging that's built in. So when the client goes to post a new blog or a new available home, they just go into the blog functionality, plug in all the information, set it live, and then it's populated directly as if it was a blog, but we have this feed already built in just with making a few changes to the blog templates. And we utilize the blog template all the time for things that are not blogs, like custom galleries or different like featured feeds that we're able to just like right out of the box use the amazing functionality already built in to the blog to our advantage in a ton of different ways. So this is something we utilize all the time to simplify sometimes really complex systems in the back end just by turning them into a blog feed.
It's also very versatile because you can add custom fields and things like that that makes it even more advanced, and you can then search and things like that. So very, very exciting stuff. And this is the other example that I was talking about, just using, you know, Service Hub and having a knowledge base on your website is amazing already. And it does all the website stuff. It's already pre-made. You don't even have to think about it. You just create the posts and you build your knowledge base, which is super simple. And it has a beautiful search and it has, you know, related items and all these great things. But then if you add a bot, just a simple bot on top, you can actually service the questions that people have, and the bot will act as a search. It's not an AI per se. I get it. I think I said AI once, and someone from Academy was like, hold on, that is not a, but I get it. That is not full on AI, but you can ask a question and it'll search, like in Google, it'll search for the 3 top articles that are related to what you ask. And it works really well. You can ask simple questions and it'll work. So this is another way to create beautiful experiences without the need of code. You just build a knowledge base, create answers to a lot of questions. This could be for customer service, but it could be for marketing, for sales. It could be internal for an intranet. It could be for so many things. You're servicing people and creating a nicer experience and a more human experience by just adding one little layer with the bot, which is just a feature that with 3 clicks, you enable it, right? Like You don't even have to think about coding anything. It's just part of HubSpot, and that's the beautiful part of it, right? Let me go to the next one. So this one is more of an advanced development process, but this is using, again, HubDB. So we use HubDB for this client. They have 10 hospitals. So the beautiful part of this was like, we actually won an impact award with this one because we had to build, poor Megan, I said yes to this project. And Megan was like, hold on, I have to build 6 websites in 6 months. Come on, guys. And of course she did it because she's amazing. And that's why we won the award. But not only we were able to build 6 websites in 6 months with HubSpot CMS Enterprise, but because we were using the enterprise level, all these websites that now are actually, there's like 15 or 20, right, Megan? Because they kept building, they have microsites and stuff like that. All of that is in one place with HubSpot CMS Hub Enterprise. Therefore, they can share a lot of things. And this database of doctors is shared between the different hospitals, and we just tag them for different. So there's one database of doctors. There's not 10 or 15 database of doctors. And there's one functionality. And then once we finish that functionality that has searches and it has cards and they can upload pictures and videos in the future, and it has the map, then we just clone for the other websites, and it's all coming from the same database. So when internally they have to do updating and clean up that database of doctors, they don't have to do it 15 times for every single hospital. They just do it once. And that's just using HubDB and HubSpot CMS Enterprise. So simplifying internal management is as important or even more important than creating beautiful experiences for the public. So we're always so happy when we can do things like this, for sure. So anything else, Ben, Brooke, and Rachel, that you want to share before we get into the questions from the audience?
I don't have a example to share. All those examples are really cool. They were great to see. I love seeing people build great things with HubSpot. I did put in the chat if you want to see even more examples and filter kind of by your specific industry or your use case. The inspire.hubspot.com website is a really great resource. I love going on there and seeing just more cool stuff that people have built with HubSpot.
Definitely. And I'll share our Inspire page. You'll see a bunch of the websites that we've built. We love Inspire. We always put our websites and experiences there. So definitely you'll see we have like 35 entries, and some of our teams are always updating those. And that then just share the main Inspire website, so you can see everybody's websites in there for sure. So thanks for sharing, Rachel. So let's go to the audience and let them ask us questions. So ask us anything. What are you building? Any questions about your current projects? I see Isabella already asked us something. So hi there. I have a couple of questions for the HubSpot team. First, what are some common challenges you've seen marketers experience while using the HubSpot CMS? Nice, tough question. Who wants to take that one?
I can take that question. Also, sorry if you hear a lot of background noise. My computer feels like it wants to take off and fly away.
Oh, mine too. Mine too. We're all flying here, right?
Every time I run more than one app at a time, it just wants to give up. But common challenges I see marketers experience when using HubSpot CMS. There is not a steep learning curve with HubSpot CMS. I think it's pretty intuitive. It's gotten more intuitive over the years as the product team has kind of refined it, but there is definitely still a getting started period that you need to kind of learn where everything is, and more importantly, kind of how the different tools work together. Because like Gabe mentioned earlier, with HubSpot CMS, you don't just get the CMS, you also get the marketing tools, the CRM, sales and service tools all bundled in together. So learning and figuring out ways to kind of use all the different features together and integrate it all That is definitely a challenge I've seen people experience when they're getting started, and even as they go along. I mean, you're always kind of learning new things and trying to incorporate and experiment with different tools. But yeah, I don't know, Ben and Brooke, if you have any input, if you have anything that marketers struggle with, or maybe like some things that you have seen developers struggle with as well.
Yeah, I mean, I might just call out like the big thing with this, I think people talk about with HubSpot CMS is like the developer and marketer kind of relationship working together. So I think it's always great to have that relationship. And I think sometimes the role as a developer is to just make sure that, like, something I think about is the themes and templates and modules, making sure that like those are very usable, like the modules are well organized, that kind of thing. So that, I think that's something important to call out when it comes to like developer marketer working relationship, like better together, like peanut butter and jelly. Yeah.
Brooke, do you have anything else?
This is such a great question. I think one of the biggest things that marketers can do, like Ben was talking about with working with developers, and something that I've seen is just like making sure that marketers are the kind of messaging they want their websites to have when it comes to, like, if you're building a new website, like really having that symbiotic relationship like Ben was talking about with your developers, so that you can feel like you're like working towards the same goal of creating a cohesive website, and really asking the developers like if there's anything that they can do to like we were talking about with like using HubDB is such an easy way for a marketer to go in and update content. They don't have to ask a developer to do that for them. So just like ways that they can work more efficiently together, so that you don't always have to go as a marketer be like, oh, I can't fix that, that's a developer problem, I have to go and talk to them. So just like creating that road so that you two can work together better.
For sure. And one of the, you bring me to that point where sometimes it's a second nature for us because we do it already. But Megan, who's the creator director, has her team that builds websites, but that team includes design, development, and content messaging, and but also when we build websites, we are not just building a website, we're building a marketing and sales tool, a customer service tool. So we work with the strategy team to make sure that not only messaging is correct and it's clear and all that stuff. That's why we love things like StoryBrand and things like that. But also, is there a path of conversions? What are the best paths? Can we optimize what they had? Did they have HubSpot already? And can we see what converted the most? Can we analyze SEO and review? So there's so many levels. This is not per se a HubSpot CMS challenge, but more of a website challenge. But when having access to so many things, I feel like it really makes sense to see website design as more than just a UI or more than just an online business card. It's part of your business. It should be a well-oiled machine that's connected to your marketing, sales, customer service, HR, and so many other things in your organization. And that's when you need the marketing team to work with development. I love that, Ben, you brought that up, because people don't think about it this way. And also then you start having all those other layers of SEO and content, and those things need to be there too. I've always talked about how websites are, the development, the design, the technical SEO, the messaging, the conversions. There's so many layers, but especially with HubSpot, it's so important to have people from the marketing side and the sales side be part of that conversation, right? For sure. So I see there was another question about the benefits of using HubSpot for website creation. Now, I always talk about, the typical question that we get is WordPress versus HubSpot CMS, right? Like, why do I move to HubSpot, or why should I stay in HubSpot, or why should I not just get a WordPress template and do it. Everybody can do that. Everybody knows about it. And yes, there are amazing WordPress templates, and it's been running for years and decades. And there's so many developers doing little modules for it and little components. That is something that's great about the WordPress community. And it's a great community. Don't get me wrong. We used to build websites in WordPress, Joomla, other things. The problem with that is that because it is open source and because it is so open to anybody building anything, then there's some potential issues with security and things like that, that then if you didn't update that plugin that you downloaded for SEO or for this or for that, then all of a sudden your website gets hacked and you're like, how? Why? I did everything I had to do. Well, you didn't, because you actually need to constantly check updates and constantly check the WordPress updates and check without, destroying WordPress. I think it's a great platform, but it's not for everybody, right? And you need, that is, there's a psychological and a price to using something that's not robust in security and safety. And I can sleep at night, and I can tell you this because I got 120 websites hacked once. And these websites were WordPress and Joomla websites. And I had to deal with hosting companies and backups and files and all kinds of technical things that nobody wants to deal with. And the solution was to move everything to HubSpot. So that's literally what we did. I think it was 6-7 years ago. We decided to be a 100% HubSpot agency because of that incident. And because we knew that if we went to a platform that really cares about safety, security, and all those important things, then we don't have to even worry about it. Yes, you pay a fee because there are features and there's security, but the fee is so worth it when you're not wasting hundreds of hours in not only maintaining it, but, hopefully never happens to you, but your website gets hacked, you get viruses, you spread viruses to other people, you get spam emails. There's so many negative things that can happen from just not updating one little plugin here and there. I don't know if you guys have anything to add on the safety and security side of things.
I think you pretty much hit the nail on the head with everything. One of the big benefits of HubSpot is that it's a SaaS CMS. It's more of a managed solution. So what you pay for is that safety, security, reliability, hosting. You're not paying, WordPress people always say, oh, it's cheap, it's free. We do actually have a free version of CMS Hub now, which is
Yes.
a very exciting development that I definitely recommend people check out. But you cannot put a price on your website not getting hacked, because I've been there before too, and it is a nightmare. The other thing with HubSpot that we've mentioned before that's an advantage is the all-on-one solution. So you have everything for your website in one place, but also everything for your customer relationship management, your marketing funnel, your sales funnel. It's all in one spot, and you can leverage that data against each other. So those are the two big things that I think we've already touched on. So I 100% agree.
Anything else to add, Ben or Brooke?
I would just say sorry, go ahead.
You go, Ben. You go. Okay. One of the things, and Rachel just touched on this, but like the ability to use all of the CRM with your website. So like our CRM plus our CMS is really how you get the most usage out of your website. And one of the biggest features that I really like to use is forms, and then have those forms embedded on your website, and then put that through a workflow and create an automation so that you can have that funnel. And it's just, you set that up, you get that information, and then you can just log it. And all the people do is go to your website and fill out that one form. And then you can start to already put them through a sales funnel, a marketing funnel, any type of kind of funnel that you want to work with.
Yeah, it's interesting. I'll let you go, Ben, in a second. But it's interesting that you mentioned forms, because we live in such a HubSpot world that forms is just the thing we do every day. But that's not such a thing that everybody does every day. You have a WordPress website, yes, you could have forms, but then you have to plug in this or connect to that or use another software to get leads. And so it's all integrated, it's all there, and you get the forms embedded on the website, you get it through automation, and then it's in the CRM. So your website and your CRM is constantly interconnected, and you can definitely make the most out of the website because of that. That's a great point. Thank you, Brooke, for sharing that. We always forget about that one. It's such a no-brainer, but it's so true. That's a huge advantage. Go ahead, Ben.
Yeah, just real quick. I was just going to say, like, from a developer perspective, I rather enjoy that HubSpot is like rather opinionated about how to like build a theme, build your templates, build your modules. Whereas on WordPress, like if you're familiar with working with WordPress, if you're inheriting a WordPress website, for example, you never really know like how it's going to be set up. Everyone can be different. That's one of the things that comes with it being open source. You can kind of build on it any way you want. So I like that on just, again, from a developer perspective, like on HubSpot, you can like, you can really leverage the modules, the templates. And if you're an agency or a developer, you can reuse your code, reuse your modules. It's just like, it's a real, like, I feel like a workflow efficiency boost. There's a lot to be said for that as well.
Definitely. So there's a follow-up question on this that Jennifer asked. She said, there's a bunch of comparisons with WordPress. What about Drupal? What about Squarespace or Wix, etc.? I'm going to give my impression, and then you guys can add on this. I think that some of the website as a service options out there like Wix, the problem is that they're so limited that is the opposite effect of WordPress. It's like WordPress, you have full liberty, therefore anything can happen. And then you go to Wix and it's like completely controlled. So I can't change the H1 tag. You know what I mean? Like that, it gets to a point where you don't have the liberty to actually do the work that needs to be done to optimize your website for SEO or for this, for that. I love that there are super easy click website, platforms like Wix to, for the cupcake store or something simple. If you want to run something in 2 minutes, create a website, click. You can do that with HubSpot CMS free for sure. But I get it that there's a market for the Wix websites out there. What do you think about Drupal or Squarespace? I think Drupal is more on the developer side. Squarespace is more closer to Wix, but a little bit more robust. What do you guys think when comparing these different platforms?
Yeah, I think the main thing I would say about comparing HubSpot with things like Squarespace or Wix is the Squarespace and Wixes of the world are a really great solution if you're just an individual and you want to spin up a website quickly. You're not really trying to run and scale a business. You just want to create a website that looks really pretty, really fast, and it doesn't have to have business impact. That is a great solution for that type of person and that type of need. HubSpot is for business owners. So if you are trying to generate revenue, you have a customer base, you're trying to build a customer base, that is where the HubSpot CMS really shines. And that's the people who I always recommend it to, and who'll get the most value out of it.
That's a great way to put it. Anything else to add, Ben or Brooke?
I think just like what you're talking about, Gabe, there's just that ability to do more. We have the ability to create drag and drop pages, but you have that layer of you can go in and customize those templates for what you need it to do. And then you can have it set, the developers can go in, set up different customized modules. So then your marketers, your web designers, they can go in and use those like a drag and drop template, but it's customized exactly to what your business need is.
Definitely. Anything to say about the Drupal side of things, Ben? Every time I hear the word Drupal, I get the shivers, but because of past experiences. But have you ever used Drupal, and what would you talk about comparing it with a HubSpot CMS?
Yeah, I've used Drupal somewhat, not a great deal. I think really what Rachel said really like kind of nails it. Like it's just going to be different use cases. Different solutions are best for different use cases. So it's not like HubSpot CMS is like everyone needs to use this, like that's just not true. So yeah, I would say in general, I think HubSpot CMS is really good, and HubSpot in general is really good at what it tries to be and tries to do. So like if you're, like Rachel said, if you're trying to grow and scale a business, like it's perfect for that. Yeah. So, just depends on the use case. I think in general, it's always good to take into account.
Definitely. Megan, do you wanna do your question live?
Question live. I am curious to hear from you guys where you see templates have headed. Obviously, Themes was released in 2020, which we're super excited about and have been able to build a ton of awesome sites using Themes. But as a 20-year-old agency, we have a ton of clients and a ton of websites that are currently in templates. So where do you guys see this headed? Are the templates eventually going to be sunsetted and we're going to need to move those into Themes? Is this a function? Like, what do you recommend for all of the sites that are still in the old template editor, when obviously the theme editor is a lot easier on the marketer? Do you have, what's the future of that look like? Conversations internally.
Such a good question. That is probably, someone asked above, what's the most frequently asked question? That's probably one of the more frequently asked questions, is like, what's happening with all these changes? What's going to happen in the future? I mean, I've been at HubSpot for almost 5 years, so I've seen the CMS through a lot of changes. I was here when it was the COS. That's throwback. If anyone here remembers that, please put it in the chat, because it was quite a time. But CMS as we see it today is quite new. And so I think there's not any immediate kind of urgency to, okay, we're going to be sunsetting all the old templates in the next 6 months and you got to get your stuff moved over. Like if that does happen, and I'm not sure if it will, but if it did, it would definitely happen over a very long period of time, because we do have a long history of people building websites in HubSpot with other frameworks. So I wouldn't worry about that too much. But I think the advantage of Themes is you're getting the most up-to-date functionality, the most up-to-date, drag and drop, things like sections, which are a new cool feature. You can save like different layout sections that you can then drag and drop and plug and play with different pages. And especially if you are downloading assets from the marketplace, you will get the most up-to-date versions of that if you are using Themes. So that's one of the advantages that I see. I really like Themes. I think of them kind of as the design kit or the framework for your website, and then templates are the skeletons for each of your different pages. So that's the way I like to conceptualize it, and I think that they work really beautifully together. But who knows what the future holds? Not me.
Awesome. Thanks for that. I have a
Ben,
follow-up
Brooke, anything?
Go ahead.
Oh, go ahead, Megan. No, I was going to say, Ben, Brooke, do you want to add anything there?
To be honest, I think Rachel probably has the most up-to-date knowledge there. I'm not actually too intimately familiar with that possible transition sunsetting.
Good. Megan, did you have a follow-up question?
Yeah, well, we're also excited and love the functionality of saved sections within Themes. Are you seeing people use that? Like, one limitation I have experienced within Themes is the global modules that we used a ton that allowed us to sort of edit one chunk of content across the board. Are you seeing people use saved sections in that capacity? I know it's a different functionality because it's not global across pages. Do you have comments, thoughts, I guess maybe the developers, to speak to Themes and maybe getting global modules in there, or what that could look like?
I have not seen that happening, but that is it's a good call out. And global modules have been a pain point for as long as I can remember.
Yes.
And I know that the product team is working on it. They're working on it. I don't have any definitive news to share, but people are definitely aware of the fact that it's a pain point. Yeah.
Great.
Awesome.
And by the way, I was not a believer of themes. I was like, oh no, they're changing our templates and whatever. And then Megan started doing a lot of great websites with it, and it started changing. And Megan came back to me and said, actually, I love themes. We're gonna use themes from now on, because I was freaking out. I was like, what are we gonna do with this? Because now we need to learn these themes. And she's like, I'm already using them and they're great and I love them. And I was like, great. And something that completed, my complete belief of new themes versus templates is when we run, after we put our websites live, we run website graders every month, and we also run the Google tests, the speed tests every month. And we've seen website graders being higher and Google speed tests being higher with themes, which I know it's probably because these are newer themes compared to older themes. They're probably using better code, or, and we use all paid themes most of the time from great companies that build amazing themes and templates. But we have seen a big uptick on Google Speed and website graders. Just when we launch the website, we always optimize them continuously. But that was a big surprise to me that just Google, especially the Google speed tests, were so much better with themes websites. So I don't know if you have anything to add there, but that was an amazing surprise for sure.
Yeah,
converted to themes. Go ahead, Ben.
No, I called it out in the chat, but I know they've done a lot of work, like the themes and modules team, the internal team. They've done a lot of work to optimize those, and I know they have an approval process for marketplace themes, so it may be attributed to that. But I know they work hard to make sure that what's sold on the marketplace and the themes that HubSpot offers for free are pretty well optimized for speed, for accessibility, those kinds of things.
That's great. Anything else to add, Brooke, to that one?
I mean, I think that when it comes to global modules and sections, going back to the previous thing that we were talking about, you just have to think about them in different ways. They have different functionalities, and so you have to really understand what each strength are for each piece and what's the weaknesses part, and then from there then you decide which one is best to use, and then explain that to your team members. If someone, maybe a higher up person, is trying to dictate down, oh, we need this to be a global module, I think the best way to go into a meeting with someone like that is say, hey, we can build it this way, show them this way, and then also show them another way that you feel is a more optimized, better way, using maybe sections or a template or some other way to do that, and present that to them as well, and just show them what is the differences, and show them how these functionalities are different. And if we want to make it optimized for our website performance, if we want to make it easier on our team to use, this is my recommendation. So going in there always with a game plan, so that you know the ins and outs of both, and you know when to utilize both.
That's great.
Awesome.
That's great.
That makes a lot of sense.
I saw a question about SEO, and I'm gonna make it even deeper. What are the best features internally that HubSpot already has, which is another thing that I always talk about when we compare it with other platforms. Yeah, you can add plugins and this and that for SEO, but HubSpot has it already embedded. So why don't you share a little bit of what has been done in the HubSpot CMS to already have, SEO optimization and all that stuff. We know that SEO is so much more than just technical SEO on the website, but the technical SEO is so important as a foundation. So what has been done in HubSpot CMS so SEO is not such a big deal and such a black box that nobody knows what's going on? And also, what do you recommend doing after the website is launched for the best optimization of the site?
Yeah, that's a really, really good question. And like Ben said, there's been a lot of optimization work that's happened on the back end, because the thing with site speed and SEO is it sounds kind of reductive to say this, but the speed of your site has everything to do with what's on your website. And people like to try to blame all kinds of different factors for site speed, but at the end of the day, it's about the code that's on your site that Google has to render. So you have multiple different pieces of that. You have like the guts of the site, so the like how it's run, the JavaScript. The developer professors can speak to that more than I can because I'm not a very good developer. But then you also have all of your content. And you can have the most clean JavaScript, the most efficiently built website in the world. But if you have massive image files, massive videos, 6 Google Map embeds, and a Twitter feed, your site's going to load slowly. You're loading up way too much stuff. So paring that down, optimizing the content, particularly above the fold, to be a little bit leaner and load faster. That will help improve your site speed and also your core web vitals in Google. Compressing your images, compressing your media, compressing your code files. You can also, I'm pretty sure, just toggle the switch in the CMS and implement lazy loading, which is a really good way to also speed things up a little bit. There's lots of little things that you can do that will add up in the long run to a faster loading website. And yeah, stick your website through Website Grader, see kind of how you're scoring, and do a little audit of your site to see kind of where are places that you can streamline things. And yeah, take the SEO certification too.
Oh, it's such a great, it's my favorite. I always say it's one of my favorite, and I know you guys may be biased because you love the CMS certifications, and I love those too. But the SEO certification is so to the point. I love it that it makes it clear and easy. I hate when agencies or companies or SEO companies, they make SEO this impossible thing to understand that nobody knows, and you have to pay thousands of dollars for someone to do it for you because you'll never be able to do it yourself. It's so simple. Everyone trainings to the team. I was doing one for new employees the other day, and they were like, "Oh my gosh, that's so simple." But I get it. That's why Google puts you out there. Your website is fast, is relevant, it has value. It's like simple things. Of course, there's a lot of technical things that could help with speed and things like that. But SEO is not. We need to demystify SEO, and I think that the HubSpot Academy certification, the SEO one, really does that and gives you a lot of like right to the point things to do. So I love it. Definitely take
Thank
that
you.
one.
Yeah, I'm biased because I made that one too. But
I know. Ben and Brooke, any other comments about SEO?
Yeah, I think that we also have to remember that HubSpot also has a bunch of free SEO tools that you can use for SEO planning. Because even though technical SEO is a big part of your score, part of the score is your content. Like, how well is your content, written? Like, are you using those pillar pages correctly? Is your blogs and articles, are they really helping to make you more, give you more authority in Google's eyes? So really utilize the free SEO tools as well as, and that will help you as you really plan what you're going to put into your CMS.
Definitely. Ben, anything else?
Yeah, I think Rachel's the expert here, so I think they pretty much covered it. Yeah.
Awesome. Have you seen any other questions, Megan or the team?
I have another question, if I can just hop in
Great.
here while I ask you guys. So my question is about themes and child themes, and if you guys recommend users creating a child theme, if there's any way that can be built easier into the functionality. One thing we've seen with themes a ton is people coming to us saying, hey, we need to, change the footer color, which isn't a part of the theme edit. So we just had someone come to us with that. And then we had to go and swap every single page on their site for the new child theme that we created. So curious, but I was also speaking, I think Jennifer is is here today, so she can hop in here as well, about how some elements of the parent theme you need to help with bug fixes, etc. So curious about recommendations, creating child themes, not creating child themes, what assets to use in the child theme, particularly for just the layman marketer who's creating their site and just downloading it right off. And then they're like, why can't I change my footer color without having to replace every single page, every single theme for my new, child theme? So thoughts on that? I would love to hear.
Who wants to go?
Nobody.
Yeah.
No, yeah. Megan's coming at us with the deep cuts here. Yeah, I would say. So
it's a true AMA, right? Like we're truly AMA. Right?
I organized this whole thing just to put you on the spot.
Yeah, I mean, I've read as far as child themes, I've read the developer's doc page on it, so I have that under my belt. Yeah, so like, I guess, can you tell me more about like what are the specific like pain points like that you're experiencing? Like maybe I can even forward this to like our internal teams, just like so you feel like you have an answer for this. Like what are the pain points? I guess, yeah, specifically.
So when you're downloading a theme directly from the marketplace, and then you go to start using your theme, it'll prompt you to work off of obviously the marketplace theme. All of the elements like the CSS, JavaScript in that are locked. It's directly from the marketplace. So themes are awesome, and you have a ton of front end editing capabilities. Like you can change the footer color, and you can change all of these different options. However, there are some use cases where maybe like the one that just happened, they didn't have access within the front end editor of the theme to change the footer color. So we had to do that in the backend CSS, which we didn't have access to in the theme directly downloaded from the marketplace. So we had to create a child theme, but then all of her site was on the original theme. So we're having to swap every single page out to now be hosted within this new child theme where we have access to edit the CSS. So it's just an issue we're running into and curious about how to manage internally when it's clear to the user to build their site on a child theme. So then they want to make simple edits, and we're like, hey, we have to actually swap every page's template in order to make this change. Does that make sense?
Yeah,
I think it's interesting because we've seen many people that contact us and they say, I've been trying to do this and I don't know how to do it. And Megan keeps saying the same thing. Hey, let me create a child theme. Well, let's change it here. And then, and people are like, oh, that's how you do it. So maybe it's a training thing. Maybe it's hey, can we choose a main theme for the whole website instead of doing per page? Or will you continue to do themes per page and then you have to change it page by page? And I think Jacob just mentioned that is page by page. Go ahead, guys.
I love the question, and it would be disingenuous of me to offer up like I know the answer. So maybe you can say it a third time.
I'll send you a video of my question.
Yeah,
yes.
we're in the Slack, we're in the developer Slack. You can send an email, and we can make sure that like the right team like hears that and like is able to solve for that. Yeah.
Perfect.
So, I think the answer is it's a problem without a solution currently.
And there is something newer. I don't know if you all have seen this, but you can change now your active theme when you're going through and creating a new web page. I'm not 100% sure if that retroactively happens on your other pages, but I think they're trying to work on solutions. Rachel is shaking her head no.
Yeah, I've heard the term active themes thrown around for about 2 years now. So it will eventually happen. It's like when you're dealing with a lot of legacy issues, there's so many edge cases. And that's why sometimes it's frustrating. It's like, I know the solution. I know it's a problem. I know what the solution would be. But then you remember how many thousands of people have built their websites with HubSpot before any of this existed. And the transition is just, it's long. But yeah, we can connect separately on that. And maybe in a future, study group office hours session, we will have a solution that we can share. Fingers crossed.
Thanks, guys. Bottom line,
Again,
we do love themes. We're a big fan of themes and how much
Yes.
easier it's made on the marketers and us transitioning sites to users to be able to manage it on their end. We kind of are able to give them the keys with themes, which was not as easy to do with templates. So we're big fans.
I totally agree. I think that it has made a huge difference in the transition to empower marketers to use the CMS because it's so much easier for them to add a module, to change things. Like all those things always required someone on their end. So all of that is so much better. Again, thank you very much, everybody, for being here today. I know it's 3 p.m. Eastern, and I know everybody has to go, but I really wanna thank you for being here today and answering so many of our questions. Grade your website. We're gonna share the link down there. Make sure you grade your website today. Go through the issues that you have. If you have any issues, let us know and connect with us in the HubSpot community, in the study group, or join our office hours. We will more than happy help you with those. And thank you everybody for joining us today, but especially for you, Ben, Brooke, and Rachel. You have been amazing. Thank you for doing everything you do in HubSpot, in the Academy, and today in this event. We really appreciate your help.